So, Jonathan, thank you for giving some time to share with us. Can you tell us about the whole idea of triple bottom line reporting and how, through relational thinking, that we might be able to help companies become a little bit more aware of their impact on society, their wider impact on society?
Well, as everybody knows, when companies report, traditionally they report their financial results. That's a balance sheet, a profit and loss account, to show historically how successful the company's been, but essentially from a financial point of view. And then 20 years or so ago, there was introduced the idea of reporting on environmental issues. Everybody's naturally and properly concerned about that. So there are now obligations for a company when it's reporting its financial results, also report on its impact on the environment. And then from there has developed a social awareness issue. So there are obligations now on companies to carry out what are called corporate social responsibility enterprises, and they would report on that. A number of companies have their own separate report on corporate social responsibility issues. So that involves, for instance, paying to enterprises within the local community, helping to support local charitable enterprises and so on. But what we're suggesting now is that there should be a move to report on relational aspects, and the key issue, which I think is gradually becoming recognised, that if companies can work on relationships, improve relationships with employees, with all stakeholders, that's shareholders, suppliers, customers, and the local community, and to be able to report on their social impact through an analysis of relationships. An example of this is what's happening in South Africa with the corporate governance code, the so-called King 3 code, when companies have to analyse and report on relationships with stakeholders. And through that, there'll be a recognition by shareholders, by employees, by suppliers, and also by the companies themselves of the benefits of analysing this and seeing that there are not only social benefits in focusing on relationships, improving relationships, getting closer to various stakeholders, but also long-term, we believe, financial sustainability and making the companies more successful.
So that's really interesting. So it's not just a case of obliging companies to think about their social costs and try and minimise the negative social impact, of the way they operate, but you're saying this could be a win-win situation for the company as well as for wider society?
Yes, that's the argument, and I think there's a gradual recognition of this with some companies who have a bad image because of some environmental catastrophe, or some companies that have a bad relationship with their unions or with their employees, which they may not necessarily understand. Companies which don't look after their suppliers, they don't pay their suppliers all the time. If they can understand the relationship, if they can see the issues from the other side's point of view by looking at the various issues and looking at the various aspects of relationships, then if that can be worked on, if they can understand that, if they can recognise that, then we believe they'll improve their performance over the long term.